Hi, everyone. I'm Christy Forsyth. I'm a spiritual life coach, a spiritual entrepreneur, and a licensed mental health counselor. This is your weekly reading where we talk all about what you need to know about the weekly energy, the energy that is impacting each and every one of us, the collective energy, what you need to know about it, and how you can use this energy to make the most of it. How you can maximize your week, how you can maximize your journey here in this week by understanding the energy, understanding what you're responding to, what you're feeling, and using it so that you can be the best version of yourself here in this week. I break this down every single week. I'm on a mission to help thousands of people to connect with their spiritual growth, their personal growth, to help them to connect with the magic that exists in this world and the magic that exists all around us, because we truly live in a magical world. And I want to start there because I'm just noticing so many signs around me this week. Are you guys noticing that as well? A lot of repeating numbers, a lot of things that are showing up on license plates. A big one for me, and I'll share this with you guys because maybe it will become a sign for you as well, is the letters HBU on a license plate. And for a long time, I would have that show up and I knew that it was a sign and I couldn't figure out what it was. I've shared this before, and it turned out that the HBU eventually, it started to make sense to me what that meant. And I heard the words of what those letters meant. And it meant help by us, meaning my angels, God, my spirit team, all of this energy. And so I've been seeing a lot of that. And I haven't seen that in a long time. And so I'm seeing that circle back for me. And I'm curious, are you finding that some signs that maybe were very present for you in your life are circling back? Or maybe that's showing up for you and this is a message for you. But it's always that reminder that we're so supported, that I'm so supported as I try to navigate all of this. So it will show up for me whenever I start to get into my head and I start to worry, because I do think that in this energy, we can get into our heads for sure. I think that there is a danger of that here in this energy where we might, if we allow ourselves, go down some rabbit holes and do a lot of worrying and get really caught up in these stories that we're telling ourselves. And part of what I feel like I need to say about this energy is that we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, and we don't want to get so many steps ahead that we're planning for certain things to go wrong when it's like many, many steps ahead, and the likelihood of that actually happening is very minimal. So don't get too far ahead of yourself. Don't get projecting it out so far into the future that you can't actually plan for it, because when we make plans, God laughs, right? How can we actually plan on what's going to happen? And can we focus a little bit more on the moment, on what's happening right now? Hi, Jessica. Nice to see you on here. Yes, repeating numbers. Yeah, good. A lot of repeating numbers. I always say repeating numbers are angel numbers. They are messages specifically from the angels, and it doesn't matter what the repeating number is. It's always a message from the angels that they're here with you, that they're supporting you. And then different ones mean different things. For me, it's been a big 444 kind of an energy. I've seen a lot of 444s. And for me, that's about stability. That's about things coming together. That's about things progressing and building upon the work that I've already done, that kind of stuff. So I'm very clearly getting that message. And I do feel like that is something that is collective. Things are starting to come together. Your life is truly transforming and evolving. Are you noticing that? Are you letting yourself evolve with it? Because here's where we can get caught up in this energy, is fighting that. We have some new things that we're wanting to progress with, or that have progressed in our lives. And maybe there's like a hesitation about that. Maybe this is where people are getting in their heads. Like, do I continue to move forward with this? Or is this going to be okay? Is this going to work out the way that I want it to? And again, Don't get too far ahead of yourself. Simply allow the transformation to happen. Simply allow yourself to grow and develop. There is a big focus here in this energy on growth. Is anyone finding that they're very focused on their growth right now? That you're very aware? And specifically in this energy, I think that we're feeling this need to circle back to some of the dreams that we had before, or some of the goals that we had before, that for one reason or another we got off track with. And it's like, okay, now it's time for us to revisit that. Now it's time for us to come back to that and connect with that and remember that. You might be finding that all of a sudden you're remembering something and it's like, oh yeah, I've totally forgot that I wanted to work on that and do that. Hi, Renee, nice to see you. So all of that stuff is circling back, and it's calling for us to refocus on it, to focus on these things that are going to help us to be a better version of ourselves. It's almost like in this energy, like our old world and our new world are sort of converging, is what I'm feeling. Like they're coming together in some way. And so you're going to find that you're like focusing on and working on the present and the future, and very oriented on that, but also at the exact same time, very oriented on working through some stuff that's coming up from the past. I'm feeling like there's a lot of old wounds energy here that's coming back up, and know that if that's coming up for you, it's an opportunity for you to heal it. It's an opportunity for you to look at it, to figure out, what do I need to do with this? Do I need to handle this differently this time around? Do I need to learn from this? How can I grow from this? So looking at it from that growth perspective is really going to be helpful for you, rather than just like getting caught up in, oh, this sucks that this is coming back up for me, or I thought I dealt with this, and just like being really focused on how much it sucks, rather than using it for your growth, your development, for your learning. So anything that's coming up for you, use it for your learning. I was saying last week that we really want to make sure that we're doing things in a different way. And I feel like we're still in the energy where we're being shown we need to do some things in a different way. We need to approach things in a different way. And that is very important. So making sure that we're doing that. And I think that this week, we can expect some reality checks, right? Don't shoot the messenger. Because I feel like we are going to have some reality checks of some things where we need to take a look at something and it's like, okay, I've got to do something about this situation, or I've got to do something on this thing that I've been setting aside for so long. So like these reality checks, that doesn't have to be a bad thing, right? It's just God, the universe saying, it's time to address this. And so that's going to come in. And again, you might look at that and you might go, oh, I hate this. Why is this showing up in this way? Why is this coming up for me? But again, it's this opportunity to take a look at something, and maybe where we have been a little caught in an illusion, or setting it aside too much, or ignoring it, or whatever this is, but making sure that we're using that reality check to pay attention to what we need to pay attention to. I really feel like we're going to be shown what it is that we need to be paying attention to. And part of what we need to be paying attention to is a big focus on our evolution. Basically, how can I apply everything that I've been learning in the past several years, or even the past several months, because whoa, have we been doing a lot of work? So how can I apply all of this and show up in my life today, now, as a more evolved version of myself because of that? So I'm not caught in the trauma of what has happened to me, what has happened really for me in so many ways. I'm not caught in the trauma of that. I'm not so focused on needing to stay stuck in that. Instead, I'm focused on using it to grow, to transform, to evolve, to show up as a better version of myself. And so we take that and it becomes something that's useful. I hope that that makes sense. So using everything that we've learned to show up again as that more evolved version of ourselves versus where we've been. If you are responding to situations or entertaining thoughts that are more reflective of who you were several years ago, take a look at that. Where do you need to shift the stories that you're telling yourself? Where do you need to shift your thoughts? Where do you need to try to approach a situation in a way that's different, that's going to support your evolution rather than your repetition? That's key. That's important here in this energy, especially as we're finding that old wounds are coming up. And this is going to be difficult, I think, in this energy, but we are being encouraged more and more and more to keep our hearts open. This is hard. This is difficult because that feels very vulnerable, and it requires a level of vulnerability that many of us don't feel ready for. But I truly feel like this is that leap of faith that we're being invited to take this week, is to be more open, to be more vulnerable, to speak our truth. And in relation to this, I also feel like there's an invitation in this energy as we look at old wounds to take a look at, do I feel ready to begin the process of forgiving something? This does not mean that whatever it is that you're forgiving, that person or that situation has access to your life or even gets to be a part of your life, because not everyone deserves access to you. That is for damn sure, right? Boundaries are so key. But when we choose to forgive, when we choose to say, I forgive this person, this situation, we're not letting them off the hook. They're still going to receive their karma. This year, incredibly karmic. So just trust that karma is going to take care of it. But when we forgive, we set ourselves free. It is the freedom that you're seeking. It is the chains that you're looking to unhook yourself for. So maybe notice what's coming up. What do I need to focus on intentionally forgiving? Forgiveness is a tricky thing, right? It's a process, and it's not something where you're like, oh, okay, so I just forgive and that's it, and I move forward with my life. Sometimes it works like that, but oftentimes it's a process. So it's the intention. And so you can start with and you might even be saying it like through gritted teeth because you're pissed off at me because I'm telling you to work on forgiveness, right? That's okay. I piss a lot of people off with these messages because it's challenging you to stretch, to come out of your comfort zone, to do things differently. I want to challenge you. I don't want to sugarcoat it. I don't want it to be like this happy, magical sunshine and rainbows all the time, because that's not what we're here for. We're here to grow. And are we here to find the magic and connect with that too? Hell yes. But I want to invite you to do the things that make you uncomfortable, because this is going to help you. And chances are, if this is pissing you off, forgiveness is making you uncomfortable. And so good. I want that for you, because I know, and your soul knows, that that's going to help you to grow. So if this is connecting with you and resonating with you, what I want to invite you to do is to, in your mind or out loud, say, today, it just has to be today. Today, I choose to forgive. And then whatever the situation is, whoever the person is, whatever that is for you. And then you do it again tomorrow. And you do it again the next day. And you do it again the next day as you feel called. And somewhere along the way, you're going to find that this energy just lightens and you feel lighter and you feel like you're setting yourself free, because you don't have to remain bound in the pain that you have experienced from the past. People are people. People make mistakes. And that forgiveness is about setting yourself free from all of that so that you're not bound to someone else's mistakes. And by the way, when we're talking about forgiveness, a lot of this forgiveness is forgiveness of self as well. So when you're consciously choosing to forgive yourself is an important person to include on that list. So where do you need to do this? This is a big question to ask yourself this week, because truly this is such an important piece of How do I open my heart more? How do I allow myself to be more vulnerable? That's harder to do when you haven't unhooked yourself from the past and you haven't allowed yourself to step forward into something new. Now, I also want to talk about the magic because there's a lot of magic in this energy as well. So today, I'm filming this on January 21st. Today, we have 6 planets that are basically forming a line in the sky. Maybe you guys have heard this, right? So we have Venus, we have Mars, we have Jupiter, we have Saturn, Neptune, and Uranus, all in a row. And I'm a big believer that God gives us tools and ways of understanding what's happening here in this world and what it is that we need to know. And so this very much feels to me like a message. Things are coming together. Things are happening. We're shifting out of the old world and we're shifting into new earth. We're shifting into this new time, this new era in our lives. And we see that being reflected in the planets. And then on the 25th, Mercury is being added to that. Now, in fairness, you're not going to be able to see Mercury, from what I understand, in the night sky. And for some of these, you're going to need binoculars or a telescope. But some of the planets you'll be able to see, like in a nice little line, if you go out and you look up tonight and if it's not cloudy. But connect with it either way. Connect with the energy, because this is just that reminder that things are truly coming together for us. And I feel so much energy around manifestation, intentionally manifesting the kind of life that we want to be living right now here in this energy. So this week, I would give a lot of focus to that. I think that we're going to find that there's less resistance around the things that we're wanting to manifest. I think that we're going to feel like we are intentionally and even accidentally manifesting a lot of fun things. But also keep in mind, when that manifestation power is revved up, you want to be aware of your thoughts and your focus. Because if you're focused on worst case scenario, if you're focused on this idea that something isn't going to go your way, you're more likely to create that this week. So you want to be mindful of that. So what do you want to create? And I would be intentional every day this week, focusing on what you want to create. I shared this in a reel, but here's something very simple that you can do every day to be intentional with your manifestations. Start with a notebook, a piece of paper, whatever, and you're going to write at the top, I now choose to create to create the following into my experience. And then I would also include, I am creating this or something better, because what that allows is kind of a loophole. It allows us to create something even better than we could have ever seen for ourselves. So that's so key. That's so important to give a little bit of that wiggle room, because I find that that's where a lot of the magic happens. We think that we want one thing and then something really magical comes in, totally different. And I think that there's a lot of that happening right now. So you're going to write that, and then you're going to list every day 3 things that you want to manifest. 3 things that you are now creating in your experience. It could be words. It could be sentences. It could be short paragraphs, however you want to do that. And you can repeat the same thing, 3 things every day and be in the repetition of that. Or maybe every day you want to focus on something else, but knowing that you're putting the intention out to the universe and you're creating it. And you want to put the intention out and then you want to let it go. You don't want to focus on it too much, because I also think in this energy, we want to be in a place of a little bit more detachment, a little bit more I'm thinking like untethered soul. We don't want to be tethered too much to anything specific. We want to let ourselves go with the flow. Maybe that's a good book for you to read, The Untethered Soul, this week, to focus on that. Jessica's saying that's really hard. Forgiveness for a really deep issue is so hard. I agree. I don't say that lightly, and it's a journey and it's a process, and it's going to take some time for the really deep stuff. And it's what I like to keep in mind is that understanding that the universe, God takes care of the rest. There's nothing that you can do to change the situation for that person. We've got to let God take the reins with that piece. And so your power here is working on that process of forgiveness, even if that's hard. 9 of Swords, setting yourself free from a prison of your own making. Very interesting. As I'm talking about that, but I agree. It's very hard. And I'll go through the cards. I'm going to pull them and then I will go through them. I'm doing that a little bit differently. Hi. Oh, Linda's saying good morning from South Africa. Hi, Linda. Thank you for being here. Welcome. Nice to hear from you. All right. We're going to pull some cards. I also do feel like I wrote down, I feel like we're going to get some important news this week. That feels like something coming in. So watch for that. Important news, happy news. It feels like maybe something in relation to creating more stability around something, because I'm seeing a lot of 444 with that in my mind right now as I'm talking about that. Let's see. What's the next card here? Knight of Cups. Following our hearts, listening to our hearts. Yeah, Jessica said 9 of Swords. Yeah. We're going to cover these. So let's pull them while we're talking. So let me know how you guys are doing. Oh, thank you so much, Linda. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know what's going on for you in your world. Let me know. I would love to hear. Claim what you want to create, right? What do you want to create? 10 of Wands in reverse. We will go through all of these. So letting down maybe some kind of a burden. These are popping out today. Knight of Pentacles. That's our second night. Ooh, okay. So remember I said news coming in or important news. Like a lot of times nights can be kind of, they can bring an offer or bring news. So it may be some kind of an offer that's coming in. 2 more. Ooh, not all of those. This makes sense. 3 of Swords in reverse, some kind of healing that's happening, which we know. This is big energy. Do you guys feel that, see that? Big, big energy. Any more? Do we have one more card coming out? Oh, you just got a new house. I love that, Jessica. Victory. 6 of Wands. All right, let's go through these. Let's see what they have to say. Okay. So I'm testing this out, by the way. I'm live on my YouTube as well. I keep going back and forth. But let's see. I had a card jumped on here. I want to grab it because that feels important. Keep going back and forth whether I want to put just the replay up on my YouTube or leave it live. We'll see. Oh, interesting. The world. Okay. I'm going to take that as a theme card. All right, let's talk about these. So, Linda, this is a message for the collective, although I definitely feel like there is energy in the air around connections right now, about connections, important connections coming together, people that were kind of destined to be aligned with. I keep knocking this mic today. That kind of stuff. I think that there's a lot going on. I've been talking about that stuff. And I think that this is why it's so important for us to focus on having our hearts be open, because I think we've been hurt. It's been hard, but it's also like leaning in. I've been talking a lot in the past couple of months about leaning into new things, as long as that feels intuitively right for us, even if we feel fearful of that, because this is a new era. It's a new chapter, and we get to have different experiences, whether that's in love, whether that's with different things. So let's talk about that, because that makes sense with this card, with the 9 of Swords. Look at how worried she is. Losing sleep. You know, where are you losing sleep where you don't need to be? Where are you worried where you don't need to be? What are you focusing on where you're creating what we call a self-fulfilling prophecy? Pay attention to that. You don't want to create from that. I think there's a lot of situations right now that we are overthinking, over worrying about. We're getting too many steps ahead of ourselves. And it's like, just focus on the now. Just go with the flow. Try to live with a sense of some level of detachment, trusting in God's vision for us, while also focusing on how am I supposed to be growing, transforming, evolving in this energy. And I think if you put your energy into the evolution rather than the worry of what could go wrong, that's where we can really master this energy this week. Knight of Cups. So Linda, for you, your younger connection might be this Knight of Cups. This is the Knight of Hearts. This is the Knight of romantic gestures. This is a very dreamy, romantic offer coming in, or some kind of a heart-centered offer coming in. As I said, there's going to be some kind of news this week. I feel that very strongly. So it might be a conversation. It might be somebody sharing something with you that is very surprising. It feels like good surprising overall, or something that we need to know, something that we need to understand. But this is coming in. The Knight of Cups also just feels like, you see, I'm very aware of like that river that's flowing there. And I just feel like this is saying you have some really incredible things that are flowing to you right now. We have incredible things that are flowing to us right now. So lean in and trust it. Let it happen. Let it develop. We have just like this little stream, but it's going to become something that's bigger than that. So let the things that want to come in to flow into the experience and show you the way, right? I think there's a lot of blessings coming in with this parade of planets is what they're calling it. So let that happen this week and look up to the sky and just be reminded of how supported you are and how incredible things can be. 10 of Wands. I also think that we're taking a look at, with this 10 of Wands in reverse, what out of my old stuff do I feel like it's time for me to release? Where have I been carrying a burden that I don't need to carry anymore? Where have I been blaming myself for things that I don't need to blame myself for anymore? It's like just choosing to move forward and to let go. This feels like a lot related to the past, to let go of the past in some way. You know, maybe you made some mistakes and that's what's coming up for you this week in old wounds. And you see the mistakes that you made, but the important thing is that you learn from them. A lot of people will say to me, Christy, why did that, for example, like why did that relationship come in for me? Why did I entertain that in my life? Why did I allow that in my life when it ultimately didn't work out? And I think that we have these connections or experiences that are meant to come into our life that aren't meant to be there forever. They're just meant to be there for a period of time so that we can learn what we need to learn. Now, do some connections or some experiences last for the rest of our lives? Absolutely. And isn't that a beautiful thing? But sometimes we have experiences that are just meant to be. That doesn't mean, or meant to be short-lived, so that we can learn a lesson and take it. So it doesn't mean that it was not meant to happen or that you made a mistake in your life by allowing this thing to happen. You're missing the point if you're focusing on that. The point is to learn, to ask yourself, what did I learn here and how do I apply this to future experiences, relationships, connections, work, whatever that was for you. And so I think that we're looking at that this week and applying it. The next card that we have, the second night that we have, so really interesting. We also have the Six of Wands, which is very like night-like, as you can see. So very night-like energy. This is like knight in shining armor energy. This is stability. This is some kind of offer that brings with it stability. Maybe it's something we've been waiting on a long time. Maybe this is important news about something that we've been waiting on for a long time. Maybe it's an offer we've been waiting on for a long time. It doesn't have to be something we've been waiting on, but it might be something, you know what it feels like is like something that comes in that we didn't even necessarily know that we wanted, and now here it is. or that acknowledgement that something has come in that we didn't even know that we wanted. And now here it is. And now it's like, oh my gosh, like I love this. This is fantastic in my life. So this might already be happening for you, or this might be coming in this week. But it's like this appreciation for what's developing, what's happening, what seeds are sprouting, what seeds you're planting, what actions you're feeling called to take, a coming back to the dreams or refocus on our dreams. I feel that very much with all of this night energy as well. And certainly with this Three of Swords, there's a healing. We're letting go. We're starting the process of forgiveness in some way. We're healing our hearts. We're healing from a storm. The sun is coming out again. There's an energy of moving forward in a different way this week. It's like we learn a lesson, we make a connection, we connect with important clarity around something, and it just allows us to move forward. So let yourself move forward. If you're insistent on staying stuck, then you're going to stay stuck. But if you say, you know what, I do want to focus on moving forward and honoring and what wants to come in and just letting myself continue to grow and evolve and become this most evolved version of myself, you're going to naturally just be unhooking yourself from these things that have been binding you for a long time. Six of Wands. Something victorious, something like there's definitely, so this sometimes is a card of good news, and I just keep feeling good news in this energy. Good news about something you've been working on, good news about something being successful, maybe some kind of conversation that somebody has with you that you're really excited about. Feels like a lot of movement this week. And maybe the good news is part of somebody else's evolution, and they realize some things and there's some clarity and they share that with you. And it's something worth celebrating. But there's definitely a lot that's worth celebrating this week. This also is this energy. A lot of times this is a soldier that is coming back from battle and being celebrated. So typically the victory that comes with the Six of Wands is not a victory that was easily accomplished. It was something that has taken years worth of work, a lot of effort. Maybe you feel as though you have come back from war in some way, but you're going to come back from more successful. So you might recognize, you know what it is? Like, it feels like we're recognizing that we're not at war anymore, and that we don't have to be at war with ourselves, with other people anymore. It's okay to just focus on the now, to move forward, to let go of the past, to focus on that forgiveness, and focus on letting life be great and magical and exciting. And the last card that we have here that flew out of the deck and flew under the desk is the World card. So this feels like it's a choice. You know, like I said, I feel like we're kind of caught between two worlds. Are we going to let ourselves enter into this new era untethered? Are we going to let ourselves choose to continue to evolve and move forward in a way that's different than the past? There's an invitation here with this. And I think that we choose that. Are we going to choose to evolve to the point that we're willing to take leaps of faith, that we're willing to try different things and grow and stretch ourselves and experience different things? So that feels important. But this fell. I always say that everything that happens as part of the reading is part of the reading. This card fell underneath the desk. So what does that mean? We have to choose it. We have to look for it. We have to focus on growth. We have to find the opportunity in the struggle. And that is going to be the thing that closes out some cycles that we've been stuck in for a long time. So I hope that that's helpful to you. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate you all. If you've made it all the way to the end, please hit that subscribe button on my YouTube channel. Like this video, heart this video, comment, hit me with a hashtag replay if you're watching the replay. Hit me with your favorite emojis, anything that you want to do, any way that you want to share this, participate in this. Number one, helps to connect your energy to the reading, but it also is a way to exchange energy with me as I'm doing these readings. So it helps me to connect with more people, and it helps me on my mission to help thousands of people with their spiritual and personal growth journey and connecting to the magic that exists within themselves and in this world. So yes, thank you all so much. I appreciate you all so much, and I will see you soon with another video. Take care.